Hello, you're welcome to this class. Uh, for the start, we'll look at introduction to economics. Essentially, this course will be looking at the microeconomics aspect of economics. Uh, so, first of all, what is economics? And when you read many textbooks, you see different definitions of what economics is. But the bottom line is that because the resources we have as humans are limited in relation to our numerous wants, we need to find an efficient way of using these resources so that we can get the best out of it in relation to the resources, in relation to our numerous needs and wants. So basically, economics is all about how to manage the limited and scarce resources that we have. So the scientific study of how human beings behave in an attempt to manage this limited resource. The study of that is what is economics. So over here, economics is a branch of social science that studies how human beings make efficient use of limited resources in order to achieve the maximum satisfaction of human material wants. So the basic point here is that as humans, our needs and wants far outweigh the resources we have to achieve them. For that matter, there is a need for us to manage these limited resources. So the study of how to manage our limited resources in relation to our numerous needs is what economics is about. So in the definition of economics, you come to appreciate that economics is a social science, uh, which uses scientific methods to study human behavior. Social science is any discipline that studies an aspect of human behavior. It's a social science. So economics studies the behavior of human beings as far as uh, their management of scarce resources is concerned. Now, for a discipline to be described as a science, it must be able to make use of the popular scientific methods we know of. Identify a problem, formulating a hypothesis, collecting data, and analyzing the data, and drawing, interpreting the results, and drawing a conclusion. Any discipline that follows this approach in analyzing any issue can be considered as a science. The idea is that a discipline that is science, when another person uses the same method, the same data, it should be able to arrive at the same conclusion. So economics also does that. Especially if you study economics at the higher level, it is very, very mathematical and statistical. So you do a lot of scientific analysis over there. Now let's come to the core of the course. As I said earlier, human society has limited resources. Meanwhile, we have numerous needs and wants. So, in an attempt to satisfy these numerous needs and wants, we cannot satisfy all of them at a go. We have to forego some, and in order to satisfy some of our needs. So, when we talk about scarcity in economics, we are simply referring to a situation where our resources are not enough in relation to our needs and wants. It doesn't mean that the resources don't exist. They exist, but they are not enough, not sufficient, taking into consideration our needs and wants. Now, because of this scarcity of resources, if let's say you are giving money now to spend, you have to look at your needs. So what you do mentally is to list your needs in order of importance. So in spending the money you have to look at your most pressing need. Then you try and satisfy that one. Then you look at the next most important one in that way. When we arrange needs in order of importance, we refer to that as a scale of preference. And anytime we all go to the market or we wake up in the morning as to what we should do with our time, we have to see, we have to prioritize our activities and see which one to tackle first. All because we don't have the resources and the time to do everything within a short period of time or at the same time. Now, anytime we make a decision or anytime we make a choice, we have to forego something. Let's say you need television. At the same time, you also need mobile phone. Remember, the money you have cannot buy the two at the same time. So you need to make a choice between buying a television or buying a phone. If you decide to buy a mobile phone, what it means is that you are foregoing the television. In economics, the next best alternative that you forego in making a choice is known as the opportunity cost. So the opportunity cost of buying a phone is the television you are foregoing. So anytime you are making a choice because of scarcity, you have to incur an opportunity cost because you have to forego something in order to gain something. That is how nature is because of scarcity of resources. You can't have everything you want at the same time. Now, the field of economics is broadly uh, divided into two. How we call the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Uh, our concern this semester is to look at issues of microeconomics. Microeconomics is concerned with the study of individual economic units, specifically how households and firms make decisions and how those decisions are coordinated by markets. So, because every economic transaction has two sides, buyers and sellers, and these buyers and sellers make their independent decisions. But how do these independent decisions, how are these decisions coordinated in such a way that the two people can have their objectives achieved? Markets do that. So, in the study of microeconomics, we are concerned, our focus mainly is to study how households, that is you and I, who go to the market to buy, and firms, that is those who produce goods and services, how these two uh, groups of economic agents behave and how markets help in coordinating their activities. That is the subject matter of micro. So microeconomics is focused on studying individual economic units, especially the behavior of consumers, households, and the firms, and how these two sides interact in the marketplace to have their objectives achieved. Then the other aspect is macroeconomics. Macroeconomics is a branch of economics that studies economic issues on the aggregate level. In other words, it is a branch of economics that studies aggregate economic variables and how these variables interrelate with one another. For instance, you may want to know what is the unemployment situation in Ghana. The unemployment situation in maybe Ashanti region is not the same as what is in the Volta region. Maybe you are not interested in the unemployment situation in Volta region, unemployment situation in Ashanti region. We want to look at the national picture. So when you study economic variables from an aggregate point of view, then we are in the domains of macroeconomics. For instance, we may want to see how prices of goods are changing in the country. How prices of goods are changing in Accra may not be the same as how prices are changing in Accra here, or in Aplau or Boku. But you want to see on the average how prices are changing in the country. So we may study concepts like inflation, which falls under macroeconomics. So that is those are the issues that fall under macroeconomics. And when you hear politicians talking